States Radio with your hosts Coco and Gregory, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Hello everyone, welcome to Glam States Radio Show. Another sunny and very warm Southern California day. Today, Wednesday.
Woo! We're back.
We're back and we're happy to be here again with you. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks, everybody.
I'm here with, of course, with Coco Selborn.
And I'm here with Gregorio Pupuzian, of course. He's very glam as well.
The most glamorous realtor in the Los Angeles.
Absolutely. Well, wow, we've had an exciting couple of weeks happen, and lots been going on in the real estate market and globally with so many changes happening.
Ooh, yeah.
Oof. We're excited about what's happening for the future, but it looks like some stability is coming into play for Europe. That also means for the world and for the U.S. real estate as well. May not have realized that was possibly going to be affected, but
we hope for the best for
yeah,
all across the board.
Woohoo!
So today's topic. What do we have for today?
Today, the most exciting part.
I know.
Woo! We're going to talk about the offer.
The most scary part.
Ooh, scary. Don't worry about it. We got all the stuff to tell you how to get through it. It's only scary because California knows how to complicate the world out of things. What?
California likes to waste paper. Thank God everything is done by DocuSign and
they hated
emails
trees for a very long time.
At least.
So frequently have to kill a bunch of trees just for a contract. But good news is, really, although it's paper, it's not paper anymore.
So we are going to talk about offers today, and
so feel free to have them call in as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Our phone number right here in the station is like 818-570-5085.
Yeah, we want to hear from you. We're going to have a list of ideas to keep in mind and what to have on your mind when you're making this offer and what to know.
Do you have any questions about an offer? Like maybe your realtor didn't explain to you in the past? We can let you know right now.
Yeah, it's cool. Don't worry. We will use no names. It's perfectly okay. You can be anonymous, and we can give some detail as to what to expect.
You can also reach us and write on our wall on Facebook. We are also on Instagram.
That's glamestates.com and our Instagram.
Or visit our website. Yeah, I also have Facebook right here open just in case. Sometimes I communicate with people, write questions. And
especially
that's why I have my phone
like
in front of me. Yeah, there's a lot going on lately. We're trying to keep up.
That's right. Exactly. So one of the things that Gregory and I especially come across are people who have maybe gone through the process of looking for a home in the past, or have gone through other agents, or have gone through the process, and they get to the part where they write an offer, or they're going to write an offer, and a lot of the information that is being presented isn't explained. So we want you to know that you may feel a little concerned or worried if it's not explained to you. It's perfectly normal to have questions, and you should have answers.
Yeah, and you should have questions. It's weird if you don't have questions.
Yeah, it'd be kind of odd, right? Like, I'm making an offer for $750,000, and no one's going to tell me how it works, but that's okay.
It's the time where we wear our lawyer hat and we become lawyers and we sign contracts and we do all this work. In other countries, especially in Europe, all this work is taken care from lawyers. Realtors don't have to do that, but it's okay.
And other states as well. Every state does it differently. Now in California, we have an extensive contract, and we say that just to make the offer. Literally, it's 16 pages just to open up the dialogue, and that's normal.
Just to say that you like the home and you would offer this money before you negotiate, before you do anything, before they even consider you. You have to go through 16 pages and put about 25 signatures or so.
Yeah, that's right. And it's normal, but we're here to share with you that that's normal part of the process. This is what you can expect, and we're going to explain to you what each thing really means, and that way you have a point of reference when you're getting to that point, so that if you get something that shows up in your email box, or you're driving by, or maybe you're working with an agent who actually is showing you the property, which is fantastic, you get excited and you're ready to make your first offer, especially the first time out, or it's been a while since you've made an offer, you get excited, and then maybe sometimes people will have this intimidation factor like, holy smokes, I just want to make an offer. Why are they giving me 16 pages of stuff to sign?
Right.
We want you to know what's normal, what to expect, and how you can keep yourself in the best position possible throughout the entire situation. So.
And you know how California likes lawsuits, and that's why all this is created.
The attorneys are so busy here.
Yeah.
They are. But we keep people out of any kind of jams like that. But just know that other states make offers in different ways. For example, New York, it's very common to just send an email.
Be like, hey, I want to buy your house. Are you okay?
I was thinking like 2.5 million. Does that work for you?
Yeah. Is
Like,
that
no,
right?
2.45 million works for us. Okay. We'll have everyone sign the paperwork. And that is how it normally works. Here, we've eliminated the process of utilizing an attorney for the most part. And we have contracts that have replaced all those concerns right up front, so we can help you negotiate the best possible deal from day one.
So what we're going to do today is we're going to break down the whole process and the offer, assuming that nobody has ever bought a house. We're going to explain everything and cover all the basics, assuming like we're talking to somebody who comes from another country and wants to buy property here, which happens very often to us. So we are familiar with this process of working with people that are either the first-time home buyers or our international clients are coming in U.S. and want to buy property. So,
Yay!
having said that,
So there's 16 pages. So page one of what you'll see generally. Hopefully you'll have someone who's going to go through it. We like to sit down and share with people, at least over a cup of coffee, just what to expect.
yes,
Page one is literally like it's kind of like you're going to college. And in college, they always ask you, they're going to write an essay. The essay is going to be, we want you to tell us what you're going to say. Then we want you to tell us what you're going to say. And then we're going to ask you what you just said.
right.
That's pretty much how you look at the contract. I'm like, well, okay. So knowing that, it's sort of like the first page is just a list of items, what you can expect in the documentation.
Many agents don't like going through the process, and I can understand. But, we are here for this reason. Our show is based on, our major idea here is educating people about the process and about real estate in general. So,
Yeah, don't worry. If you have questions, you
Yeah.
should feel free to ask. And
818-570-5085. Sorry for interrupting.
no, it's good. Thank you for reminding me. And also, want to say is that most agents they don't intend to just keep it from you. That's not the intention. The intention likely is that, well, maybe they don't understand the contract, but likely the situation is that they've gotten complacent with sharing the information about the contract. So.
Or they're like, I got it. Don't worry. Just put your signals here. Don't worry, I got it.
Yeah, which is okay, as long as you're okay with that. But just so you know what you can expect. So that's page one is just a page that literally says attached forms.
Right.
That's page one.
What is included? Yeah.
Yeah. And the first section you're going to come across, it says disclosure regarding real estate agency relationship. Now, what does this mean? This means that in this offer, you are working with this agent. That's all that means. Why is it 2 pages? Well, I hate to...
It's your name and your spouse's name, whoever is going to be on the title.
Or non-spouse. It can be...
Yeah.
I don't have to be married,
Whoever
Gregory. What's up with that?
I'm just saying, whoever needs to be on the title, and
I'm just joshing.
your realtor's name, who is representing you. So that's about it. The agency.
Yeah, that's all that says. And that doesn't mean that you're in contract with them forever. Doesn't mean that you have a relationship with them for the rest of your life. It doesn't mean you're married to them. What it means is that for this offer, and why it has to be 2 pages is because, at some point, somebody was sued about who's representing what person.
Yeah.
So ultimately, this comes down to making sure that you're in the best position possible as a buyer. In this case, is making the offer. You're representing just the buyer. The buyer's going to be on documentation. They're being represented by an agent. Because sometimes in the past, obviously not recently, but there have been times, and there are people who do transactions without documentation. And that's where lawsuits come up. Mm-hmm. So this just protects you in the process that says, yep, that's right, people. That's my agent. So that's 2 pages worth of that. So look, guys, we're already 3 pages into 16. Right. Wow, we're rocking it out. And then the next document, which one is that one, Gregory? The possible representation of more than one?
Yes.
Right. So this means that you may have other people who are interested in that property. Yep. That's possible. Other
Usually
people.
more than one people, more than one person is interested in buying a property, a specific property.
You likely have a good eye and you saw something you liked and it's working for you, and you're likely not the only one. And it's possible that the agent you're working with may also get a call about that same property. And
From another person.
That's right. If it's someone separate, they're not allowed to disclose that information.
Right.
But know that if you're in an agreement, there also are exclusive buyer representation agreements. And if you have that you're signing, which most people aren't signing these days, but if you're in a situation where you have that, the best part of having one of those is that you have the right to know that someone's going to be trying to make an offer. Your agent's going to call you. Of course, we tell people, hey, look, I'm representing someone else at the moment for that property. We just share that anyway. But that's because we're about freedom of information. Not everyone is required to tell you. So we just want you to know that's what that possible representation of more than one.
So normal
is
stuff
about.
so far.
Yep, boring.
Okay.
Yep. And it's a general form. It's not specific about that property yet.
Yes.
So it's huge documentation of yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. Contract. Okay, got it.
About 80% of the contract is standard stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a lot of great reading when you're feeling sleepy.
Or you don't and you want to go to sleep.
Right? You're like, whoa, I feel the urge to take a nap. It's good. And then the next page you'll find is literally page 1 of what we call the Residential Purchase Agreement.
The RPA, as we call it.
The RPA itself has a table of contents in the beginning. And that page really just helps you understand what you can expect as a quick point of reference, so you know where to find your question to be answered if you don't have someone available to show you.
So the RPA, the purchase agreement, starts with buyers' names, buyer or buyers' names, whoever wants to be in the title.
This is page 1. Now we're on page 1. It's going to list.
This is actually the most important page of the contract.
Yep.
And the reason is?
Absolutely, is because it has the direct information as to this is where it becomes a little bit more specific. It has the name of the buyer, it has the name of the property, it has the identification number, which we call the APN, or the assessor's parcel number, which is specific to that exact property. Even if it's a townhouse or a condo, it's specific to that particular unit.
Yeah.
So
every home has its own APN.
that's right,
to
their
make
own
it more
ID number.
specific, yeah.
That's right. Like
ID.
we don't share
It's like
social
the property
security
ID,
numbers, right?
yeah.
We don't share. Well, we're not supposed to share social security numbers. It
So-
should be your own.
Yeah.
And so on this, you'll have the price that you're making the offer at, the address, of course, and also how many days you're expecting that the escrow or the time it's going to take to complete the transaction will be. In this case, if it's a standard loan right now, we're looking at a 30-day time frame is the general idea. Now, does that mean 30 days?
For a conventional.
Correct. Does that mean from today? No. That means from the time that everyone agrees and the seller says, you know what, I like this offer. Yeah, let's open up escrow.
So from the time that the offer gets accepted, meaning both parties have agreed to and signed the contract.
Absolutely. Then it starts. That would be day 1.
Yes.
Not that, and there will be other times where, and we'll explain a little later how that can be extended from the 30 days from the day you sign it, possibly.
Another thing that makes this page 1 very, very important is the fact that it demonstrates the finances. It says if you're going with a loan, what kind of loan you're taking, or if you are cash.
Absolutely. And again, to go back to the 30 days with regard to the loan that you brought up, it's such a great point that you're about to bring up, and I think I just stole your thunder, so I apologize. I was just going to say, we was going to say with that, we have new laws coming in play, and that will definitely extend the time of a purchase from being 30 days in escrow if it's a loan to at least 45 days, guys. So there are new laws and new rules coming to play. It was supposed to start August 1st, but at this point we're looking at October 1st. So expect that what used to be 30 days has just been bumped into 45. There's a lot of extended periods that will be reviewed with us, and we'll share with you what the changes are, and we'll have experts in to share with you what exactly is changing. But for the time being, hey, you're still in the hot market. This is a great time to buy, and you want to take advantage of it, which is really smart, especially with interest rates. Don't worry about it right now. Just know that after October 1st, that is going to take longer. So it becomes a little more expensive is what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
So then going back to why, Gregory, why do people care about what a buyer is offering, what their finance terms are?
It really matters. It shows, how can I say that? It shows how qualified is the buyer and how able is to close the deal.
Absolutely. And it shows on paper. Now, you want to put your best foot forward in a contract, meaning that we really help people understand that the seller has only really a very short opportunity to look through the offers. In this day, in this market, and where we're at, in LA especially, and where we are at along the boulevard, or even where we are spending most of the time in West Hollywood and Santa Monica, you're looking at multiple offers. So when you have multiple offers coming in as a seller, you have to look at as much information as possible. So you try to look at what's available to you. And what you're really concerned about is, okay, if they have no money down, that means that there's no, does that mean they can't qualify for their loan, or they don't have money, or it makes the seller start to wonder.
How able they are to close.
Can they actually complete a transaction? Meaning they may have been told by a particular lender, yes, you can make the purchase, yes, we will give you a loan. But most lenders don't go through all of the steps until they're in escrow. And things can change sometimes between some buyers. Not every buyer is as aware as another person. Not everyone understands that when you're in the process of looking, that what you do with your credit, your bank account, and what you're doing with your activities on your accounts can impact your ability to get a loan. So sometimes that can change.
And also it impacts how you look on a seller. Like you look good or you look bad.
Yeah, and unfortunately that means you have to divulge this really intimate information about your finances. But it's also to get you to the best place possible, into your new home. That doesn't mean that they're going to control the terms of your loan once you get there, but this is really to give the best opportunity to everyone. Say, look, this is in good faith. This is the best I believe I can do at the moment, and this is the best that we have available. And knowing that, you step forward with what they call good faith. So just put your honest information here. Have your lender do their best to give the best possible loan to you for this process. And your lender should work hand in hand with your agent to represent you in the best way.
Definitely.
To give you the best advantage without overextending what they can do for you.
So that's about it, the first page. It really demonstrates the ability of the buyer, how strong the buyer, and how likely it is to close to finish the transaction.
Absolutely. And if it's all cash, guys, it's a different story. We change it up. You don't have to put anything on here other than it says all cash. So that's page 1.
That's page 1. All right.
On to page 2 of that contract. So we're well into this at this point. Want things on here very straightforward. It's going to ask you questions like, is they attached? Do they show a verification of the down payment? Yes. During the process, you want to demonstrate what you have in your account. It has been argued in the past by some that at one point or another during the markets, people were not sharing what they had in their bank accounts. In this case, today, in this era, it's absolutely in your best interest to show all the funds you have available to you, even if it's 10 times more than you plan to ever utilize.
Makes you look. It's another thing that makes you look better.
Absolutely. I mean, if Gregory is the seller and I'm bringing him information and I'm showing him all these different people, and you're showing, and my client is showing,
If I see that your clients are very tight, I might go to somebody else who has like maybe more money in the bank and is like more.
And if they're shy to show it, it doesn't
It's
help
not that
you.
we're nosy, but we have to know so we can better help you.
Absolutely. And for negotiation purposes, some people have said, I don't want to show everything I have in my account because they may try to negotiate for more.
Yeah.
No,
No.
they won't
it's
do
not. It's not working. It's not.
to a seller. Holy schmoly, you know what? They can actually close pretty fast.
Yes.
And they have choices. So it gives you a bigger advantage to show more ability to purchase.
Yeah.
That you can walk away and get any property you feel like.
Exactly. You can even buy a more expensive, a better property than these guys.
Or
so.
or two smaller ones. You can do anything you want to.
Mm-hmm.
So it really demonstrates your ability.
It depends how you see it.
Yeah. From a seller's perspective, it's good for you.
Yeah.
Besides, if they wanted to ask for more, they'd have to negotiate for more, and it doesn't mean you have to do anything. So you've got it protected. Down the line here, you also have on here any additional documents that may be required during the transaction. You also have contingency periods. Contingency periods.
What are contingencies?
Oh. Contingency periods. You must have heard this so many times.
Contingency.
It's a contingency.
Okay, tell us, Coco, what are contingencies?
Oh, well, there
what
are
do they do?
several major contingencies. Those basically, what is a contingency? A contingency this is like an exception. It means that we're intending to move forward if blank is done. So that's what, it's kind of the if mark. Okay, there's the if.
In other words, it means if this happens, then
we move forward as the
we do
contract
that.
says.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's kind of your loophole, you're out. For example, we have a contingency period for the home inspection. Some people, when they're very new at the process, want to go and come in and they go, okay, I'm interested in the property, but I want my uncle from Nebraska to fly in and check out the property. Okay, that's awesome. You're going to lose the deal between now and then. So that's why we have specific time frames available for buyers to bring in anybody they want to. You can have a numerologist come in. You can have anybody in the world you want to come in and do anything you want during that time frame.
So we say there is a 3-day contingency period for inspection, meaning you have 3 days to perform your inspection, and if the inspection goes well, then you go ahead, remove the contingency, and you move forward with the purchase. With
See,
the transaction.
Gregory writes such great offers, I'm telling you, because the standard on there is a 17-day, right? 17-day contingency period to do your inspections. On a single-family residence, it's especially easier. Well, either way, it's actually really easy. But especially with a contingency period says 17 days, you look great on an offer when you make that much smaller.
With less. Yeah.
Because the reality is, chances are fantastic that you can get a home inspector within the time from acceptance. Now, remind you that acceptance period is what's important. So that contingency period starts the day of acceptance. So say on a Monday, everybody's happy. They say, yes, let's move forward. Generally within 1 or 2 days, sometimes 3, you can get a home inspector in there and give you an idea what to expect. Plus, you'll get disclosures back and forth. You know, if it's 17 days, we tend to write it in such a way where it gives you way enough time to get it done and enough time to get both documents back and forth. And besides, even if you have a short contingency period, keep in mind, if the seller's side doesn't give you the documentation on time, it still gives you extended time. You're totally covered. So we write it in such a way to make sure that you're covered for time and any inspection you feel like. Plus, it leaves you the opportunity, should something be majorly wrong, you walk away.
Exactly.
And your deposit is returned. Now, these contingencies help you retain your deposit. Your deposit is refundable until all of these contingencies are removed. One is inspections. Another one is the loan contingency, and the appraisal contingency is the third. So appraisal contingency would be the next one you'd be concerned about. Okay, is the value really here? That's a great question. Anyone who's giving you a loan is going to send in an appraiser themselves and say, hey, look, an independent third party, non-contacted individual is going to come in, as they say, blindly, and without any connection to anyone, the seller, the buyer, the lender will not know them.
It's a neutral third party.
Absolutely. They're coming in and giving an independent opinion of what the value of the property is to ensure you that you're having a great opportunity in your purchase. Now, if the value doesn't come in, like say you're making a purchase and the appraisal comes in for less than what you're purchasing for, you have then the opportunity to go back to the seller. In most cases, unless it's written, it's like there's very extreme situation
Yeah.
where you're writing it off in the beginning, like we take it under all circumstances, no
As is,
contingencies.
and,
And that's possible, but usually that's investors who are not doing first time. So if you're going in and you have the appraisal contingency and it comes in
Lower, yeah.
you still have the opportunity at that point. Many things can happen. One, you can cancel the deal and you get your money back, you walk away and move on.
That's why we put the contingency. Contingency
right.
means that you can cancel if it doesn't happen as was planned. Cancel and back out and get your deposit.
That's right. And I should say the deposit only becomes a requirement at the time both sides accept. So going back just a little bit, and I think I probably should reiterate that say there's acceptance, but maybe you've seen another property between the time that the seller accepted and you made the offer. So you're no longer interested. There's no harm, there's no foul, there's no penalty. Nothing happens to you. You aren't required to pay a fine or a fee. You just have to know that, okay, that property will likely not be available for you again if you walk away from that offer. And that's usually fine with people. They're like, okay, no problem. I'm not interested anymore. I found something I really love and I want it and I got it. Okay, not a problem. So you've got the appraisal contingency. So that was one if it comes in lower. The great news about an appraisal contingency is that you can, and it comes in lower, you can walk away. You can accept it as is, pay the difference between the appraisal and the purchase price, which is very common. Or you can go ahead and ask the seller to reduce their price to the appraised amount, which is also extremely, right now in this market, that's the most common thing to say.
Yeah.
So you're still protected across the board. You lose nothing by being in that place, right?
Right.
And then, of course, what's the last contingency? The loan contingency.
The loan contingency.
Grigore, your
Meaning?
favorite.
Meaning if your loan doesn't come in or
It doesn't qualify.
it doesn't qualify, then you just back out.
We've heard stories of people like, who shall remain nameless, who thank God weren't our clients, but people accidentally make mistakes. And knowing ahead of time what to expect is so important. But sometimes with all good faith, people make mistakes. For example, they may go into it and not realize that by co-signing for their brother on a motorcycle during escrow, in that 30-day period especially, it has now decreased their ability to qualify for the loan.
Exactly. And
So-
many cases they have lost the properties that they really, really love because they applied for a Macy's card
Right.
and ruined their credit,
Yeah, it just went down. It happens. Or, and then there's the other part that really helps you for having a loan contingency. And sellers want this, within a timely manner. It's usually 21 days into escrow. It's probably going to extend after the 1st of October. But again, we're not going to worry about that today. But that keeps you protected. What happens if, sometimes unheard of things happen. Sometimes people are laid off. Sometimes they lose their jobs or what they were hoping to have happen didn't happen, so they don't qualify. You have this ability to now not complete that if you absolutely have to, and you don't lose. So we like to train our representatives, and also, when I was teaching real estate, we like to reassure people that it may sound scary, but it's not so scary. You have trained people like us who are going to help you and watch you throughout the whole process. We're your guardians.
For sure. And we're going to make sure that you're not doing, weird stuff.
Yeah. No weird stuff.
Don't apply for anything. When you're waiting for a loan, don't apply for a Macy's card, for a new motorbike. Don't touch your credit.
Yeah, well, if you're interested, we can send you in the top 10 things not to do during escrow. That's not a problem. That's available anytime. It's very helpful to know about. And again, if you have questions, go ahead and call us. You can call us in at 818-570-5085. Now we get on to the next page in the contract. This part talks about who's going to pay for what. Some of the negotiations that we like to get into to share with people what's kind of standard and what to know.
So these are the terms.
They would be the terms, sir. You're so good at this.
The terms are as important sometimes as the financial part of the buyer, because it's two things that we negotiate in the contract. One can be the terms, one can be the price.
Right. And I think what most agents presume is that you're going to go with the standard clauses for the terms. But keep in mind, you can get the biggest advantage during the clauses and the terms.
Yeah.
Because it may be that across the board, you only qualify for a loan at the same number as somebody else. But you have maybe extra cash or some ability where your family is able to assist you in paying in some ways for other things that don't cost you very much as a buyer, but really relieve some of the concerns and payments a seller would naturally and normally pay for. So it's a great opportunity for a buyer who's really interested in a property to get an advantage.
Again, it makes you look better.
Absolutely. So there are things in here like there are requirements like the retrofitting of a property. What the heck is retrofitting? That means...
Okay, yeah, no. Sorry, I was thinking of
Oh,
something
all right,
different.
sorry.
Retrofitting the property, yeah. I wanted to say that this makes you look, if you would like to put to look strong and aggressive, and you really want to look that you really want this home and you have the ability and everything to close, negotiate, be better on the terms. It's going to make you look better, and the seller is going to more likely is going to work with you and stay with you.
Absolutely. Sellers will be kind of shocked that you thought to do that.
Yeah.
And hopefully you're not
It's
reminding
like taking the extra mile.
Yeah, and hopefully you're not the one bringing it up to your agent to remind them that you can do it. Hopefully you're working with an agent who's savvy enough to have looked at all these terms and go, you know what? In this case, it's only going to probably cost you, an extra $1,000 if you cover this, and this. Well, to a seller, that's kind of a big deal after a while. They get looking at their net costs and they're like, gosh, I'm barely making it out of here. Maybe they're going through a divorce and their money's tight. Who knows what the reason is that they're selling? And they're super tight on their costs. And you just alleviated a little bit of space for them. It shows great good faith on your behalf as well.
If you help the seller a little bit, he's going to be more willing to work with you. It's easy as that.
Absolutely. And they don't have to be things that are very costly. But if you're, depending on how aggressive you want to be, you can expect that you can see during escrow, each side generally pays their own, right, Gregory? So each can pay their own.
That's a usual, yeah.
Yes, and the seller usually determines what escrow company that is. Now, Gregory, do we have to worry about escrow as far as costs across the board?
No.
Right, because escrow, as we had in our previous show, you may have not seen that one or not, but most escrow costs are pretty straightforward across the board here, especially in the Southern California area. They're very competitive because we have so many escrow companies.
So pretty much everywhere you go, they're going to charge you the same amount of money.
Yeah, so it's not going to be about cost other than
Same fees,
what to expect. But some things you can be negotiating on are sometimes like transfer fees. Generally, those are what the seller pays for. But depending on how much you are willing to take on and alleviate costs, they can be transfer fees, they can be a buyer's warranty. Some things you don't want to negotiate on would be like Gregory pointed out to me before we went in. He made a great point about title insurance. Because title insurance covers really who, Gregory?
The buyer, the owner.
It covers the owner, and you're right. The buyer, it protects their purchase, but it also covers the seller at the same time. They're guaranteeing that when you make this purchase, you are the person who is allowed to be making that purchase. And if someone comes in after the close of escrow and says, hey, that was supposed to be my property. My grandmother's uncle's friend's shoemaker
You want to
back from
avoid
the
these
farm
problems. So
said one time that they were going to give me that, and here's this little scrap of paper.
covers the seller and then covers you as a buyer. And then, yeah.
Why have the problem? So they want to pay for the insurance for it. Let the seller pay for that. Other things you can talk about are maybe things like the chandeliers or things like this, if you really want those.
Items included in the sale, like washer, dryers, stove.
And what's generally included are things that are attached to the property.
Yeah.
If they're attached, not just plugged in, but rather they're attached and to the property, they call them fixed. That's considered real estate and not personal property anymore. So there's that. Hey, we're chugging along, Gregory. Where are we at now? On what pages?
Yeah, 4 out of 10. But overall, we're.
And then here comes a really exciting page 4. Anyway, page 4. of this is who's going to be in what place, who's going to be there after the close of escrow. Are they going to keep the property?
Possession.
Yeah, you want to make sure, honestly, unless they're keeping the property for more than 30 days, try to close and get possession a day that it records into your name, okay? And we'll get into that a little later, but that's basically what you'll want to keep in mind for your own purposes. Then we move on, honestly, we're on to the next page. We talk about
This page is just all standard stuff.
standard stuff, not to worry about anything here, really. Talking about condos and giving you the homeowners association, the what they call the CCNRs, the closed and rules, regulations of the community plan development, things like this. What I guess we're trying to tell you is, well, Gregor, do people need to be worried when they go in to make the initial offer? Do they need to worry about, what has to happen during this time frame, or can they just walk in and feel comfortable? Like, look, this is just a preliminary. Yes, here are some of the terms, but try not to get too caught up in, other than understanding what you're really putting in the offer for. Don't let it stop you from feeling good about the process. There's a lot to know and
it's
rely on.
intimidating and scary, and it's like really everything we cannot cover everything in an hour. But it's
It can be
it's
intimidating and
it's
scary
normal.
if you're
It's normal.
if you're not
It's-
knowledgeable about this.
Yeah.
So get comfortable with it. So we'll have examples of this available. If you'd like to know more about it, you can call us. You can contact us. We're at glamestates.com. You can for sure ask us anything, and we'll try to help you, even if it's something that happened. You think, was this
For
right?
sure.
I mean, can't go in the past, but try to stay forward and positive in the future. You've got people here who are caring about you and what's going to happen next,
Right.
and we're here for the long term.
And we've been through many different situations, like all the time. Every transaction is different. so-
Every single one of them. They're similar in some ways, but they're different, just like people. They're similar, but they have different things.
different
going on.
people, different transaction, all the time.
Absolutely.
That's why we love this job. It's never the same.
That's right. Just like every property is just a little bit different.
So we have 10 more minutes left.
Okay, so real quick.
818-570-5085 is our
Yep.
phone number where you can reach us, or of course on Facebook, Glam Estates, or on our website, glamestates.com.
Pretty standard stuff for the rest of that.
Yep.
Okay, so strategy we went over and why loans are important. Hey, one thing we haven't talked about is the strategy and the psychology
Yes,
of
it's very
the
important.
offer.
So that's pretty much that's it. The rest of the 4 pages here are
Just
standard.
Standard stuff. You're going to see one in here about arbitration and breach of contract and that kind of stuff, liquidated damages. It's it's not something we can demand you to do, but I can just tell you that I have never seen a transaction actually happen without both parties agreeing to do it.
Yeah.
Plus, call us. I'll tell you why.
Plus we have the escrow that makes sure that all the
Yeah.
parties are,
We have strong
Covered.
agents here. Give me a high five, shall you? Thank you very much. Let's keep this going as a positive on that.
Okay. And strategy and psychology, very, 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 very important. Very, very important. Of course, we said with all the terms and the way you negotiate and all that, how you make yourself look better to the seller and look stronger and more aggressive if you really want the property, what to do. So you know that already. So let's talk a little bit about psychology.
That doesn't mean that you have to have a psychologist be present,
Right.
but it does help.
It's a time when we take out the attorney hat and we wear the
Move over.
the therapist hat.
That's right.
The therapist.
Back over to that. And keeping in mind that what we mean by psychology, how are you going to approach a seller when you're representing great buyers like you? How do we represent you? And basically the way we look at it is we're almost going to court for you. We're going to bat for you in a way like, okay, here are all the features my buyer has, and you're going to love them. And let me tell you why. Not only do you get us,
Right.
okay, anyway, but honestly, that does make a difference. As far as like working with people that enjoy working with one another, it's very helpful to have personalities that mesh. If I'm getting an offer from someone and I feel like they're really butting up against the wall with me about everything, I'm petrified that my seller's going to have weird problems with the buyer whose agent is acting bizarre. Like, oh man, okay, Why are they asking me that question? Yes, it's LA
know.
County. What do you mean? It's in downtown LA. Why are you asking me that? You're scaring me. Yes. Okay. So you get questions that you want to make sure you have things available. Guys, if you're working with us, you should please expect that we're going to ask you not to write a letter, maybe provide a picture, but we may even ask you to do what, Gregory? The power of what? Video? Video.
We take videos we usually with every offer, and we present you and your family, and we talk about we talk nice about you
and why you're a great buyer.
Why you
honestly,
want,
makes a huge difference. Once you have that eye-to-eye contact, and that feels like eye-to-eye
and it's
contact.
easy for us because with all our clients, we make friends, we make good relationships.
Don't worry, you'll be good on video. It's fine.
And it's in our nature. We talk good for everybody, even though
And that way you have an opportunity to really present yourself and say why you're excited about it. It doesn't have to be more than a few seconds. Honestly, 30 seconds is enough. But know that the more you're willing to put into it, and be understanding that you'll be more than one offer likely available, it does give you an advantage. A seller is less likely to say no to you if you have great terms and a great, just even what you're saying on the video. No, you don't have to look a particular way on the video at all. Has nothing to do with it. Has to do with you just presenting yourself. That's it.
It's nice.
Very
And
authentic.
other realtors don't do it, so we take advantage of it, and we impress people, so it works.
Yep,
It really
they
works.
like it. That's exactly right. And we just want people to know you have lots of options available to you. There are many things to know. It's not necessarily black and white, but there are ways to feel comfortable about it. The first time you sign an offer, it's going to be a little scary, likely. But at the same time, now that you have this base of information in front of you and a really good idea of what to expect, it will be less challenging for you as you move on, right?
Right. Just for your own sake, make sure that your realtor really understands the contract and really explains it to you, and you understand as well what you are signing, and you understand the psychology and the strategy behind it, because every offer is different, and every offer is tailored to every buyer and every seller. It depends,
Absolutely.
And make sure that your realtor is going to go through this and take the extra mile for you,
And knowing about it ahead of time, so that when you're on the spot and you found a property you like, look at the contract beforehand, please. So that in case you find that property, because when they show up, boom, they happen like that.
Exactly.
And you don't want to be caught up going, shoot, what does page 8 say again? Oh my gosh, what are we saying? Right? You don't want to be in that situation for no reason. And if you have a base of what to expect, puts you in a great position to feel confident and excited, so you know what you're doing and not get caught up in something that doesn't become relevant for
And this
you.
is something actually that we offer in our first consultation. In our first consultation, we talk about, especially if our client is like a first-time home buyer or a foreign buyer, we make sure that we say everything, explain everything about the offer, and they tell us their situation, and we try to tailor everything in their situation, make them look better as much as we can.
And especially what's interesting, as we find is funny to a degree, is that people from other countries who are coming in as foreign buyers, they're very easy to look and ask questions, and like they're confident to move forward. There's generally not an issue, but because we come from Southern California, say, and maybe we've been here all our lives, and we see a contract, it makes us nervous.
You and other 3 people that have been here
That's
all your
true.
lives.
I am one of 3.
I'm from the rest. We came
That's
from
right.
somewhere else.
That's right. What do you mean you're handing me a contract? You're like, great contract, great.
Plus, let me make sure that we said that it's okay to write multiple offers for multiple properties.
Yeah, when we go out
It
with
doesn't mean, as we said, the contingencies can be our friends, and they help us protect you as a buyer, so you can put many offers to many properties that you might like at the same time, and that gives us and you space to negotiate and really pick the best deal.
And that way you're not buying on strictly emotion, which a lot of times people don't realize they're doing. So the more you see, the better you have that feel. Kind of like when you're dating, you don't generally marry the first person you date.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's possible, but likely you want to see a couple. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It isn't love at first sight. Sometimes it happens and you're like, wow, I love it. I got to have this property. It's mine. And that might be great. But keep in mind, it gives you an opportunity to let that kind of simmer while you continue to
Oh,
live.
let me take this quick call. We have a call.
Great. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Gregory and Coco.
Hey.
Hey,
are you guys
we
doing?
know this guy.
Hey,
friend
how are you,
Josh.
Josh?
Josh, what's happening?
Enjoying the show as always. You guys doing great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank
and
you.
I guess my question was kind of this may be reverting back to some of the other topics you were discussing earlier, but in terms of like credit checks and stuff like that, how thoroughly is a person's income kind of taken into consideration in
Wow.
terms of getting a loan for a home? Like, what if someone, is self-employed and has kind of sporadic, or fluctuating income? I mean, is that, I guess that's probably part of any kind of standard credit check. How thoroughly is that scrutinized by a lender?
That's a great question,
question,
Josh,
yeah.
especially in LA and the industry that we work in. And many people are self-employed or 1099 actors or in production in any kind of way or self-employed. That becomes a qualification ability for your loan. We have specific lenders that we work with all the time who work directly with people like us who are independent contractors. And most average lending institutions don't have that accessible or available. But keep in mind that those who do have it have great terms. And we can, of course, I'll give you references to those lenders that have the best programs. We scrutinize the bejeebers out of these guys. They're sweating by the time they're done on the phone call with us or they're working with us. They're like, holy schmoly, okay, I got it. Oh, and I don't want them mad at me. But it's a great question because oftentimes your credit score itself will be included as a requirement to send to the seller as well. So, but don't worry. Josh, we absolutely take great pride in making sure that people are covered all the way around before we move forward so that you look like the best possible package to any seller out there.
And you are really getting a good deal.
Oh, thank you. No, that's great because that's always a concern because, credit score alone doesn't necessarily reflect your total financial situation, obviously, because income is obviously a massive part of
It's
the whole equation. So.
Absolutely.
The biggest factor. One of the
That's a
factor.
great question. Well, gosh, Josh, I hope you email
Great.
us with the property you're interested in so we can go out there and show it to you.
Absolutely. I can't wait. Sounds
You're the
good.
best.
Well, thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
Josh.
calling anytime.
Great.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was a great question.
That
What
was
a
nice.
Great way to end the show, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
There's so much more to know. And
Yeah, I think we covered the basics.
Man, oh man, please use this as a reference and feel free. Listen, even if you pass this along to someone else, maybe you're listening to this as an iPodcast somewhere in the future, and you hear this. By all means, we don't want you to hesitate. Even if you're in a situation where you just want to ask the question anonymously, just call us. We don't mind helping.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we are here for, and that's our mission: help and educate people in real estate.
What's the best number for them to reach us at?
562
Yeah.
537
Uh-huh.
2595 is one of the numbers, and the other one is
323-425-9484.
awesome.
And then Glam at GlamEstates.com.
Glam at GlamEstates.com.
Well, there's that.
Glam Estates on Facebook, Glam Estates on Instagram,
In
Glam
case you wanna
Estates on
glam it up.
Twitter.
In case you need some arms to go with that, I've got a lot of that for you too. I'll work on that next.
All right. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you again next Wednesday,
Yes.
6 p.m. sharp.
Woohoo!
So until then,
Da-da-da-da.
glam it up, baby.
Glam it up, baby.
See you all.
You're listening to Glam Estates Radio with your hosts Coco and Gregory, right here on LA Talk Radio.